Hello friends and welcome to the Saitama Stacker channel. My name is Dean. If you are watching my videos for the first time, please know I only make them for entertainment, education, and for community building around the Saitama token. So please do your own research before deciding whether or not investing is right for you and your portfolio. So second day in a row here, still feeling that building excitement for the launch of Saitamask. There does seem to be a little bit of confusion in the community about when it goes live and what features are live. So I'll be trying to address a little bit of that, but also looking at a question someone asked and how that played out in the AMA. Russell actually gives a direct answer to the question that somebody asked me regarding Lily token. So let's jump in. Oh, also I'll be giving you a warning on some scam alerts that are so prevalent in Twitter. If you put the right keywords into Twitter, it is a guarantee somebody is going to respond with one of these potential scams. So let's take a look at the fundamentals for today. Today is the 30th, is it not? Nope, it's the 29th. Good. Okay, I'm a day off, but the chart is not. Today, 322,524 wallets. That's an increase of 911 over yesterday, so we can see that building a little bit. Our market cap jumps up again, and currently 1.487 billion, which would put us 73rd of all cryptos per our market cap and the ranking system within CoinGecko. Price currently 703398. So we're approaching a double up here for people who bought at the bottom. I have been holding all the way to the bottom of that dip painfully and maybe imprudently, but that's kind of how I have invested up to this point. I have never sold. So I'm glad that I didn't sell at the very bottom out of panic and that I'm starting to see some recovery in my portfolio. The volume is back up again at 45 million, and that is the highest we've seen in quite some time. The burn ticks up to 56.23. Burn speedometer would suggest it would take 37 days to burn 1% of the total token supply, the original token supply of 100 quadrillion. That would be 9.78% of the total supply. Our 10-day moving average for the burn, 6.03. And in the last 24 hours, we have burned 7.5 trillion tokens. Now, I made a discovery just totally random and odd, but it turns out that the number of tokens that I have currently is absolutely at the perfect ratio with the burn, so that however many tokens are burned, mine burns the same number minus a lot of zeros. But if you look at this, I mean, here's 10 trillion, 7.5 trillion, 4.7 trillion, and you look at my rewards, my reflections. There's my 4.7, there's my 10, and there's my 75. So I can now see my burn just by the number of tokens. Of course, I have to knock off lots of zeros, but it's just interesting to me that somehow my token count right now is the perfect ratio to be on par with the token distribution there. So just a point of interest. Maybe not interesting to you, but numbers fascinate me, and that's just kind of some bizarre serendipity. So I'll take it for today. All right. So I was mentioning there's some confusion going on out there about what's going on in the community with Saitamask. So I'm going to pull a tweet here. This is by one of our community members, Big A Armory, always been a strong supporter and always been very kind to me and participates a lot in the discussion we have in the Stacker community. So this is a great question. And he just says, you can't responsibly release Saitamask tomorrow, 1:30, because he transferred Ethereum into his wallet and it's not allowing him to purchase Saitama. It's not allowing him to transfer the Ethereum back to Trust Wallet. And he's not allowed to log out of his Saitamask account. Now, the not logging out part, I can't speak to that. But as per the rest of it, in the AMA yesterday, they talked about the fact that Saitamask will not be switched on or fully functional until tomorrow. And it looks like, from what I'm seeing in some different Twitter posts, most likely tomorrow in the evening. Now, in the evening in whose world, because we're a global community. I'm not really sure, but a lot of times when they post things, they post Central Standard Time. So I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere in the US clock time zones in the evening tomorrow. When it's switched on, I believe people will be able to use their Ethereum to buy Saitama, and there'll also be additional tokens listed there. Now, when you post on Twitter and you use keywords, so in this case, the words trust wallet were used. There's also Saitama in this. If we go in and look at the comments on this particular post, I just want to show you guys, it's crazy how much there's people out there in the world that are happy to try to scam you. So here's one that says right to trust wallet support, and they give a Gmail. This one could be potentially legitimate, but then after that we get trust wallet support. All of these have different places that they're coming from in terms of who's tweeting them, and you'll see it's a Google Doc. It's some types of a form, Google Docs. Here's one that's Saitama, Google Docs, Saitamask support. Engage us by filling out the form. When you look at the forms, one of the things they ask for is your seed phrase. All somebody needs is your seed phrase. They can input that into any Ethereum wallet, and all of a sudden you have just given them the keys to your wallet. So never fill out one of these forms. A, it's a total scam. B, never let anybody have your seed phrase. You should have it backed up somewhere. You should have it written down on paper. You should have it stored somewhere safe, maybe 2 copies in different places. And ultimately, if something were to happen to you, some trusted member of your family should know where to locate that seed phrase, because that's all they would truly need. They could open up any wallet and import that seed phrase and have access to your tokens, which you would want if you were gone, of course, but you wouldn't want anybody else to have them because you're not going to have your tokens very long. But look how many of these there are. I mean, 7, 8, 9, 10 responses, from people with these trust wallet Google Docs scams. So just be very, very careful. And also just know it's not switched on yet. So there were discussions yesterday in the AMA. This is a copy of the AMA. I left a link in the description yesterday. I'll put it back in the description today. But in the AMA, they talked about the fact that some people were saying they transferred tokens into the Saitamask wallet and that they couldn't see them. They're there. They're on the blockchain. Okay, the wallet is just reflecting or giving you an interface between you and the blockchain. So tomorrow, when everything's powered up, those tokens should be visible. They are on the blockchain. They should be secure. This is, of course, my understanding, but I mean, this is the experience that I've had too. The tokens, even when they're not showing in a wallet, some wallets don't support certain tokens. I've bought tokens and I can't get them to show up in my wallet. But when I go out to the swap and input the contract address, the tokens are there. They're living on the blockchain. They're just not reflected, or they're not there isn't software within the wallet to make it work. Saitamask is not switched on. So tomorrow should be the day. Now, one other question that I received was regarding Lily token. Now, Lily will launch on Tuesday. That's the word from the development team. And the question is, if it's exclusively available on Saitamask and you have to use Saitama to get it, won't everybody be essentially selling their Saitama, which will drive down the price? Well, tokens that are listed on the exchange and have a liquidity pool where there's an equal number of Saitama and Lily token ready to go in that pool, you're not essentially selling your tokens and buying the other token. You're trading your tokens. You're exchanging your tokens for those other tokens. So they go into the liquidity pool and it essentially ends up being a 1-for-1 transaction. So it shouldn't put downward pressure on the price. But if you want a different description of that, or you'd like to hear a better description, in my opinion, or a more official description, in the Saitama AMA from yesterday, January 28th, at 46 minutes and 30 seconds, Russell answers that very same question. Okay, I summarized it for you. He answers the question. So that might also be a way that we can get really good fees in terms of gas fees, is if we're not having to sell something and then buy it with something else. Like I have Saitama, but I need, say, let's just say I need Luffy. Okay, so I've got Saitama and I need Luffy. Well, if there is a liquidity pair on the swap, I can just exchange. If not, whatever Luffy's paired with, say it's paired with Ethereum, I would have to sell my Saitama for Ethereum and then swap the Ethereum or buy the Luffy with the Ethereum. So even I'm trying to get my mind around this still, but just know the question in terms of will that drive the price of Saitama down is answered in this. And then Russell gives an explanation about how every aspect of Saitamask is intended to create positive pressure on the price of Saitama as a token. So that's at 46 minutes, 30 seconds. All right, let me show you my reflections, which I kind of already did. Yesterday, in the last 24 hours, I've received 75 million Saitama tokens as part of the Reflections program. That brings my total to 3.7 billion since November 21st. And if you're not familiar with how the reflections work, on saitamatoken.com, which is Saitama's official website, under this ecosystem tab, it will bring up this page that explains how the passive income and the burn work for Saitama. Friends, I hope you're having an amazing day. Tomorrow's a big one, okay? Tomorrow's a day to look forward where we'll either make history as a token. It'll definitely be a big day in the history of Saitama as a token, for better or for worse. If this comes out and it works as advertised, it should really put us on a track to continue to build the community and the project together. If it's struggling, it could be difficult, you know, it could be difficult, but I've got a lot of hope that it's going to work very well. We know the CERTIC audit's complete. We know that the development team has been under a lot of pressure to make sure this thing performs over the last 3 weeks as they just try to get to the point where we can engage in creating accounts with Saitamask. So fingers crossed it goes well tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. Check back with me soon, and we will watch our Saitama stacks grow together.